Hi, my name's Rachel Andrews. Welcome to Everyday Athlete. On this week's video, we're going to be looking at how to get past the worries of what lies beneath. So I'm going to give you a few practical strategies about how to get yourself in for that first swim. And perhaps you maybe had a little bit of a scary moment before and you're struggling to get back in. If that's you, then stick about. It doesn't really matter where you're swimming. You can't always see what's below you when you're getting in. So it's really natural to be worried. There are really three areas where we're going to experience not necessarily being able to see what's beneath us, and that can worry us with our little active imaginations. So we've got the foreshore, we've got the actual foreshore and getting in. So at the point we're starting to paddle and wade in, then there's things underfoot that we could be worried about. So things that we might bump into, there might be rocks, there could be old sea defense type stuff, the groins and things. There could be bits of litter. Then while we're walking in, things that we might be worried about then could be crustaceans, things like barnacles on rocks, so sharp stuff under feet. If we're going into a sandy beach, perhaps there might be weaver fish which kind of bury themselves in the sand. There might also be little creatures rattling around on the floor. There could be, you know, some little snaily things, there could be some crabs and things. And then as we get further out and we actually probably get to waist deep and maybe start thinking about swimming, maybe there's going to be some stuff floating in the water or swimming with us. So there might be jellyfish, there could be fish, there could be seaweed and other plants. There might be bits of debris in the water, and there might be some bigger stuff like perhaps seals or maybe even dogs that are in the water with us. So what can we do about all this? I've just highlighted all the things that perhaps you're already worried about, but let's look at how we can find a solution to help us to get into the water. Well, the first thing I'd suggest is taking a walk at low tide to see what's going to be underneath you when you're swimming. And I'm just looking here. We've got some rocks and things. We've got some these pointy things down here. These could be a little bit sharp underfoot. Those are the remnants of some of the sea defences, these groin things behind me. So there's bits and bobs that we might bump into. What I can see on top of these rocks is that there is quite a lot of seaweed, bladderwrack and all that sort of stuff. And so as the tide comes up, that's going to float quite high and might tickle me. So that's something to be thinking about. Being tickled, it's not really a big deal, is it? But it can surprise you if you're not expecting it. So looking around to see what's going to be in the area that you might be swimming. Next thing you can do is take a look along the tide line to see what has been washed up, because it might be that you see a whole load of jellyfish along there, the type that are pretty colourful and maybe quite stingy. Then you might not want to get in. So taking a little look first of all to see what's there. I'm just going to hop right up to the tide line here and let's see what we can find. Tide's quite far out at the moment. So next to my bag here, a couple of things that I've just spotted. Some cuttlefish. These are cuttlefish bones. If you haven't seen them for real, you've maybe seen them in a pet shop in a budgie's cage or something. But yeah, cuttlefish bones. Bits of seaweed. Sadly, a little bit of rubbish. I'll pick that up in a while. So there's nothing too worrying that I found on that small section there, and it'd probably be replicated up the beach. So I'm fairly happy there's nothing too wild in there. What I'll do is also pop down to the sea and see if we can see anything. And today is a classic example because it's windy. It stirs up the bottom, or stirs up the water by the edges, so actually the water is opaque. You can't see in, you can't see what you're going to be stepping onto. So looking in here, just got a few little wavelets, bits of seaweed, can't see any large animals. Sadly, I haven't seen the seal for a long time, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. A couple of boats and things, no rubbish floating. I'm happy with that. What you wear getting into the water can really affect your confidence, whether it's body confidence or confidence with actually what's in the water. My number one tip is to wear something on your feet, and today I'm going to wear these. So they are just soft, fairly soft little shoes, but they've got quite a solid base to them. That solid base will protect my feet from anything I step on, be it a bit of debris on the floor from someone's party or barnacles or something kind of spiky that occurs naturally. But that will certainly help me on my way into the water and make it much less of a stumble. The other thing it will do, a massive side bonus, is for me wearing these, I find that I'm almost immune to bits of seaweed touching my feet while I'm swimming along, whereas barefoot, whoo, I just think Jaws is after me. It can really surprise me. So get yourself something on your feet. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a pair of old trainers, it could be anything, but make sure it's got something between you, the sole of your foot and the floor. The next thing is, you could wear a wetsuit, you could wear a stinger suit, or you could go for a cheaper version of the stinger suit, which is like an all-over rash vest. You could wear just normal gym leggings and a long sleeve top. All of those sorts of things will stop anything from bumping into your skin, so it will minimise the chance of a little jellyfish sting. Mind you, one thing to point out is that the jellyfish around the UK generally might give you something like a nettle sting, but it's not usually anything that's much more serious than that. I've got a little video on how to treat jellyfish stings, which I will link in the maybe up here in the corner, but I'll also put it in the description below. Another piece of kit that's an absolute top tip is a pair of goggles. Any old goggles will do. They don't have to be this type, although these are pretty cheap. I'll link them below. But having a pair of goggles on means that you can take a look at the beautiful world below, and you can get a really good look at the seaweeds dancing and also at any little things that are moving around. Realistically, you hardly ever see very much because you're bigger than most of it and it's always frightened and swims away. You might see a prettier sea anemone or a starfish though, so get yourself a pair of goggles and really have a good look. Now, although I've got the goggles with me today, as I've already pointed out, it's windy and the sea looks murky, so you know what? I'm going to be a face-up swimmer today, so I won't be looking into the water because there'll be nothing to see except for sandy water this far from my eyes. One thing you can do is take a little look on some of the websites that I've linked below. The Biological Society, Marine Biological Society, has some cracking information and beautiful pictures of things that you might spot while you're in the water. Well, now that I'm all ready, I'm going to be getting in gently. As you can see, I can't see anything. So just going to be taking it gently. Got my shoes on. I'm still going to look down though, just to see if there is anything to see, because I might see a shadow or something if there's something big in the water, like a big rock or something. But just gently eking in, feeling my way with my toes, enjoying the little tickle of the seaweed, and just kind of sliding my feet along really. I don't want to do anything too hasty. And getting in nice and gently is really good too, because it allows us to get used to the temperature. And actually it's not too bad today. Ooh, a little bit of seaweed around my feet there. It'd be nice if I could see down, because actually it feels like there's some interesting stuff down there. So once I've got myself to waist deep, then I'm good enough to swim, because what I don't want to do is get myself into a position where I'm a little bit far out, I get worried, and then I can't put my feet down, because that's another thing that can add to the frightener. So starting off about waist deep, maybe a little bit deeper, but certainly staying within your depth is a really good idea for just getting used to the environment. So I can stand up, I'm still in plenty easy enough to stand up. There we go. I think I'll bob, it's a bit more comfy for all of us. And I have got a tow float with me, so having a little tow float with can make you feel a little bit more secure because you can hold on to it if you get a little bit worried, but also it makes me much more visible in the water, especially in an area where I am, where there's quite a lot of traffic. One thing I will point out though is because of the depth I'm in, the boats can't get anywhere near me, and I'm also outside of the little channel. I always find it's best to swim parallel to the shore, because that way I can stay within my depth, or at least within a few strokes of my depth, and I can get out pretty quickly if I want to. I guess the other thing is, it's fairly reasonable to expect swimmers to be along the coast, but it's not massively reasonable to expect that they'll be a long way out. So boats may not be as vigilant in looking for swimmers in the water the further out you go. And here there's a lot of boats. Check this out. Once you got yourself in and you're feeling fairly happy with the situation, it's time to lie back, float like a starfish, and congratulate yourself on being so brave. So you see, there are a couple of strategies to get yourself into the water and to get yourself over that barrier of wondering what's beneath, because what's beneath doesn't care that you're in. So chill out, get a good look out, get something on your feet, and come on, the water's lovely. Remember, getting down to the water and going swimming, we're doing it for fun. So take it at your own pace, get in as far as you like on that first time, even if it's only just getting your toes wet. I'm sure you'll go a little bit further the next time. But really do try to give it a go, be brave. I think you'll surprise yourself and you'll really enjoy it. I hope the tips have been useful, and if they have and you take your first dip, please let me know in the comments below which ones were most useful. I'd love to hear your stories, and I'd love to see you in the water. And I'll see you next time. Bye!